Welcome to a brand new week and a brand new month. From us here at the AM show, we're happy you made it into November and we hope it treats you better than October. Coming up on the show, after a lot of back and forth, Parliament has directed the Ghana School of Law to admit the 499 law graduates who were denied admission, saying the school will have to apply the admission rules that pertain at the time the students were taking the entrance exam. What does that mean? Can Parliament compel the Ghana School of Law to admit the affected students who are also seeking redress in court? Now, there's also a standoff between Parliament and the police over an invitation to Medina MP Javier Susu following the protest he organized in his constituency last week. The latest is an attempt to arrest the MP in church yesterday by some persons who identified themselves as national security operatives. The issue of contention is the clause in the Constitution that says an MP cannot be arrested anyhow. There are suggestions it's about time the Supreme Court clarified that matter. We'll get into that matter too. And then there's the National Science and Maths quiz, which has produced some interesting contests so far. We'll bring you a wrap and look ahead to some of the contests lined up this week. We also have sports showbiz and a whole lot more. I'm Israel Lai, and I'll be doing this with Enimwe Nimado, the adorable. Do stay tuned in.
Well, good morning and welcome to the AM News here on the AM Show. My name is Enimwe Nimado. Our very first story this morning, the Ghana Police Service is asking churches situated in residential areas to put a stop to noise making. Director of Public Affairs ACP Kwesi Fori says any church that flouts this objective will be made to face the full rigors of the law. He spoke on the news analysis program Newsfile.
The police administration is very much aware of the religious freedoms or freedoms granted to faith organizations and institutions. And we are also very much aware of the laws of the land. And of late, as we've seen, there are a lot of infractions as enumerated by Mr. Isankuma. For instance, churches located in residential areas, people making noise over amplifying their voices and musical equipment, making people restless in the night. And it is the responsibility of the police to make sure that such infractions are put to a stop. And this is what the
How
police...
about the city engineers and all of them? Because every place has a zoning policy.
Yes,
the policy either says this is residential, or it is commercial, or it is mixed residential commercial.
Yes.
Why do you allow them to build a church in a residential area?
The heart of a community. For instance, I was in Kigali. In Kigali, churches have their area, hotels. No, it has been properly planned. Without such infractions among others. But here we are. The city authorities need to do more across the country. They need, not to allow the landowners, land dealers, to demarcate and plan our cities. It is time we give a better planning.
The Edrasa Dumasi municipality is on track to attain its zero maternal mortality target this year. The Health Directorate has not yet recorded any maternal deaths since the beginning of the year. Dr. Courage Anku says his outfit wants to stay successful for the rest of the year. He spoke to Joy News' Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin at an event to launch a pregnancy school in the municipality.
Our target is zero maternal deaths. So we have to encourage all pregnant women to understand some of the issues that they need to take, especially food that they need to take to boost their system. So we need to do it for them. So at least at 36 weeks, we will not have the anemia so high at that particular time.
In 2019, the municipality recorded 1 maternal death. The figure went up by 2 in 2020. Fortunately, the Jurassic Dumasi Municipal Health Directorate has stemmed the tide. The year 2021 has been marked by good news because no pregnant woman has died within the last 10 months. Municipal Director Courage Anku says his outfit wants to maintain the record and work more to tackle other challenges.
Within the the support, the maximum support from everybody, assemblymen, the pregnant women themselves. We need a maximum cooperation that anytime we call, that we are coming to the community, they should make themselves available to us so that we can do the education, and they can also carry out education to others.
One of the measures implemented to keep an eye on pregnant women is the opening of the pregnancy school. The school will improve skilled care during and after childbirth to save both mothers and their babies. Health Promotion Officer Josephine Ama Agozo says the concept is an innovative way of improving communication between the health sector and pregnant women.
We're going to use the health workers, but these were health workers. We're just going to select some who are very good at teaching in education, who have more patience that they can be with the mothers at a given time. So we are going to train them and then give them human relationship skills, the leadership skills that it takes, so that when they go to the mothers, they'll be more patient, because every pregnant mother can easily annoy you because of what is carrying. So we're going to psych them, give them more input on psychology, other leadership training courses before they zoom into the electoral areas.
You know, pregnancy is associated with a lot. But our key issue that we are trying to organize this is the anemia. Anemia in pregnancy is very high in the Jurassic Dumasi. Every year for the past 3 years, the cases are so high. And if you don't do anything about it, it can result to death.
Say far through never coba combrana a camapa ema pinphobia in Yama obia. Now Uyo or Bana over your fununa one a bit to me I'm a washer about Frana and I say wow because Yama Bebrio, I say Yana say yes, Yancy.
Through a 4-stage process, pregnant women will be schooled to clear the myth associated with delivery that makes them stay away from the hospital. A report by Mohammed Nurudi.
Now, 3 members of parliament in the central region say they would push for parliament to legalize the use of tricycles, also known as pragya, in the country. According to them, should the police enforce the present law that prohibits their use for commercial activities, the security of the state would be hugely compromised because thousands of youth depend on it. Speaking at a summit in Cape Coast, George Ricketts Hagan, Dr. Kwamina Mintanyako and Samuel Atta Mills urged the government to support tricycle operations by digitalizing their activities. Richard Kojonyako reports.
The use of pragya for commercial activities has provoked mixed reactions on the street of Cape Coast, while some stick with the law and maintain that there is a legislative instrument that prescribes it. Others feel that in the wake of the huge unemployment deficit in the country, Parliament should, as a matter of a national security concern, legalize the use of tricycles, popularly known as pragya. A summit dubbed the Pragya Summit in Cape Coast sought to discuss the teething challenges with the use of pragya for commercial activities and the possible ramifications. MP for Cape Coast South, George Ricketts Hagan, says it's unacceptable for the country to continue to make the use of tricycles for commercial purposes illegal.
In fact, as a result of this pragya operation, we have been able to get people who otherwise would have been criminals, who otherwise would have been armed robbers off the street into this kind of work. It sounds ridiculous that at the age of 18 you cannot ride pragya. We have been told that the payroll is full, and therefore the youth should become entrepreneurial. To become entrepreneurial, these are some of the things you can do. The Okada riders are entrepreneurs, some riding their own pragyas or some doing it on behalf of others and getting paid. I said the youth unemployment in this country is a time bomb, and we the politicians must wake up and smell the problem that this is a security threat. Unemployment of our youth is a threat to this country. It's a security threat, and something must be done.
The Cape Coast Metro Assembly will, on the 15th of November, begin the implementation of measures aimed at restricting users of the tricycles to 25 years and above, and also restrict their movement to certain areas and operational times. But MP for Cape Coast North, Dr. Kwamina Mintanya-Akon, says the law on the age requirement should be reviewed.
Myself, Honorable Judge Kukuru Ketegan, and then Honorable Atta Mills are now going to push for Parliament to consider the need for us to regularize Pragia in Ghana and especially in Cape Coast. I think it is important because it is also going to be an avenue for the youth to have employment. All we have to do is to make sure they ride at the prescribed areas. I'm of the view that if you have to vote and you have to be 18 years, if you have to get married and you have to be 18 years or 16 years, if you have to do any other thing and you have an age limit, what stops us from also looking at how we can also allow our Praja people to also ride at the age of 18?
Deputy Central Regional MTTD Commander ASP Bismarck Setuchi indicated the police would move with the existing law once it hasn't been changed.
I think the feedback is they weren't happy because they are saying that there's no job in Cape Coast and Pragia has created some sort of employment for them. But that is not the issue. Should we also legalize prostitution or drug abuse, drug system? No. Pragia is not for commercial people. So my advice to them is they should stop using Pragia for commercial purposes. So the laws were made by parliamentarians, and our duty is to make sure we enforce the law. That is what exactly we are doing. And we'll keep on enforcing the law to the latter.
The Pragia Association in Cape Coast says they are going to push for their job to be legalized because should it be collapsed, thousands would be jobless. Reporting for Joy News, Richard Kwejenya-Akon, Cape Coast.
Now, more than 400 job openings were exhibited in the Northern Sector edition of Government's Job Career and Entrepreneurship Fair in Tamale. The Northern Regional Director of the Youth Employment Agency, Haruna Mohammed, says that's part of government's commitment to providing jobs for the teeming unemployed graduates. Correspondent Martina Bugri was at the job fair and reports that hundreds of job seekers thronged the fair with hopes of finally securing a job.
From far and near, hundreds of job seekers and those with innovative business ideas gathered at the Aliu Mahama Sports Stadium venue for the fair to seek for opportunities. The Tamale Fair, the third in the series organized by the Youth Employment Agency, according to the Northern Regional Director of the agency, Haruna Mohammed, is to support the cause to create jobs for the youth.
We are putting this book together because we want to contribute our quota for the social profit that the Youth Employment Agency wants to enjoy by also helping the government of the day their quest to be able to provide 1 million jobs for the Ghanaian youth. As a result of that, the young gentleman that is leading this agency, the person of lawyer Justin Kudua, has indicated that this job center must be able to contribute his quota, and we have been able to do something. Today here in Tamale, we had about 427 vacancies that are declared by over 60 companies that are here to showcase and also to do on-the-spot interview of prospective job seekers. And we also have another facility we call the Entrepreneurship Kitchen and Startup, where young people and Ghanaian citizens are given the opportunity to put their business ideas on paper and meet face-to-face to industry experts who will evaluate these business plans and also assess it to know whether it is bankable. And if it is so, then we provide them with startup capital or we provide them with funds to be able to expand those particular opportunities.
The Director of Research and Planning at the Youth Employment Agency, Nana Eja Yao Insian, said the fair is a platform to harness the business potential of the youth of Tamale who want to be on their own.
We are also very much aware that entrepreneurship is also the order of the day. There's not a lot of young persons, not all of them are interested in working for people. Some of them have their own business ideas, some of them have already started running their businesses. And so as part of the agency's mandate of creating sustainable jobs for young persons, in partnerships with our strategic collaborators like the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Plan, the Ghana Enterprise Agency, we decided to bring all of them under one roof and engage young people of Tamale who are interested in starting up their businesses or scaling up their operations. So in essence, this morning, all we are doing is typically they will say you want to kill two birds with a single stone. But today, this morning, Youth Employment Agency is killing 3 birds with a single stone here at the Aliu Mahama Sports Stadium.
Chief Director of the Northern Regional Coordinating Council, Alhaji Alhassan Isahaku, on behalf of the Northern Regional Minister, Shaibu Alhassan Shani, told the job seekers to move beyond just acquiring education and develop a skill.
Yes, many of us have done the first one. We have had the education that is desirable, whether it's a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and so on. The next step, like he says, see whether you have developed the right skills. Yes, the education should lead you to develop those skills, but it is not necessarily enough. Sometimes there is a need for you to consciously take advantage of your education and develop a skill that can come out of that particular education for you to be able to finish the product.
It's time to get into the newspapers.
Before that, though, can we just celebrate the 1 week, 1 day memorial of that abysmal Hearts of Oak loss that they suffered? And hope that everyone is doing okay. Israel, I hope that you've recovered. How did you celebrate the 1 week?
Why would I celebrate that one?
Yeah, exactly. Why would?
But there's nothing wrong. I mean, I don't know why you're still fixated on this Hearts of Oak.
I shall be fixated forever. Actually, there was a match yesterday, wasn't there? Was it Hearts of Oak versus Legon Cities?
Yes.
Did you win?
No. But we didn't lose either.
Okay.
Hearts of Oak didn't lose.
Yeah, but you didn't win, which is a loss. We drew. Yeah, it's still a loss, Israel. But yeah, anyways, good morning to all Hearts of Oak fans, all Arsenal fans, all Bayern Munich fans, and because that's what Israel is going to say next. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. And it's great to be back. Okay, are you going to get into the daily graphic?
Well, yeah, and I would also want to use the opportunity to say thank you to Jojo Kobna for sitting in for Echo, producer.
Thank you, Jojo.
For the period that Echo was away, enjoying his leave.
Which is not pension.
Yeah.
So he's back. Echo's back. And so, of course, the birthday wishes will also start coming back. Yeah, because Echo knows a lot of people celebrating their birthdays. But Echo, we missed you, so it's good to have you back. We're expecting breakfast, so.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's get into the newspapers. On the front page of the graphic, MPRA raises alarm bells. Only 6% informal sector workers on pension scheme. So only about 600,000 out of an estimated 10.2 million workers in the informal sector are currently enrolled on at least a pension scheme. The Chief Executive Officer of the National Pensions Regulatory Authority, Mr. Hayford Atakrufi, has disclosed. Now, this is something that the Senate has been talking about for a while now, actually trying to get as many of the informal sector workers on the pension scheme as possible. Because they don't have the structures in place, they are often sidelined. But they also need to have pension so that when they go on retirement, they can have, or they can no longer work, continue their informal professions. They can actually get something. Okay, so that's the story. On the main story on the front page. Then redeem climate change pledge, Chakwera to develop world. You know, there's a global climate conference taking place in Glasgow, and we'll be keeping you up to date. President Akufo-Addo is there actually. He's gone for that climate conference. So yeah, we'll be bringing you updates all through. Then moving on health, residents benefit from free spine adjustment, use expertise to make Ghana vaccine manufacturing hub. The scientists have urged. And 26th Climate Summit, President off to Glasgow. So that's what I was telling you earlier. President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo is in Glasgow, Scotland for the 26th UN Conference of the Parties, a Global Leaders Summit on Climate Change. The president, who left Accra yesterday, is leading Ghana's delegation to the summit. A statement from the presidency yesterday said the COP26 summit which will be one of the largest gatherings of world leaders, will bring parties together to accelerate action towards the goals of the Paris Agreement and the UN Framework Convention and on climate change. And over here in Ghana, I'm interested in knowing what we are doing as a country towards the climate change summit and to stop or halt global warming or slow down global warming. Government invests $1 billion in TVET institution. Unwanted incarceration. It's in politics, there's some issues here that come up. And investigate Mohammed's allegations. The MPP is urging the police. Security personnel pursue Sosu at church. That's one of the things we're talking about this morning. The police have issued a statement to that effect. They're saying that they didn't pursue, they were not the ones going for him in church. And the people who the security officers were seen were there on an intelligence operation, but they were not sent by the police. Committee set up to investigate disturbances at Swami Police Station. So there was some disturbance at a police station at Swami, where we're learning that some soldiers attacked the police station after one of their own was arrested for a traffic offense. And the police, in fact, there was a joint statement from the military and the police, and they're indicating that they're going to investigate that matter. Let's move on to other stories in the Daily Graphic. So businesses need to strategize under COVID-19. Indeed, they need to. WIPA Authority supports beneficiary of livelihood projects. The WIPA Authority has handed over fish ponds to 39 groups of 117 people at Bui, a resettlement community in the Banda district of the Bono region. And then High Court upholds ENI Springfield unitization. The purpose of executing the UUOA was to give full effect to the government's directive to unitize the Afina and Sankofa fields. Dr. Frank Eweje donates maternity block to KNUST. That's commendable. Thank you. And there are a number of properties for sale they've been advertised here in the Daily Graphic, quite a number of them. Defective tires, major cause of road traffic accidents. A lot of people do not know that the tires have expiry dates, whether they have been used or not. So yes, it's true. They have expired this. Cecil Gabra has been talking about that for some time now, so you just need to know. Let's go to the center spread. On current LGBTQI plus controversies, disagreement with pro-advocacy group. So based on this is by Reverend Father Emmanuel Abekwe. He says, based on this, I contend that the government of every country has a right to restrict the exercise of rights if it believes that the conduct of some private affairs of citizens can lead to negative repercussions. Then there's also this piece on frequent African coups. Does it lie within political fault zone? And NPRA opens fifth office in Tema. So the National Pensions Regulatory Authority has opened its fifth office in Tema. It says the opening of the Tema NPRA office coincided with the Awareness Week celebration targeted at deepening educating Ghanaians on the Tier 3 pensions in relation to the informal sector. Continuous disinfection of airports builds resilience against COVID-19. But this disinfection of airports and the disinfection exercise, really, I wonder if it actually works. Because you can defect, and then the next minute you have people come in and they infect. So
they reinfect.
Yeah, they reinfect. So I'm wondering whether it is relevant for us to continue disinfecting, because the disinfection also costs money, and it comes at a cost.
I mean, I think the immediate argument that I would come up with is that the amount of what should I call it, the virus or the amount of, I mean, so obviously if...
Or the prevalence of the virus.
Exactly. So, you know, the less, when you disinfect, you clear the whole table, for example, and then, you know, somebody comes and puts a little spot here. Obviously, it doesn't compare to the whole table being dirty. So...
Well, yeah, anywhere on the table. But it's more about the aerosols that are in the environment. So if it's in an airport, you know, 1 minute you disinfect one day, the next minute people flood the airport and they reinfect it with the aerosols. That's the point I was trying to make. Okay. In business, Graphic Business Stanbic Breakfast Meeting, experts to discuss pre-2022 budget tomorrow. We're talking about that last Friday. So yes, we came forward to that. LGBTQ plus practice inimical to country's culture values. Most Reverend Philip Name. And breast cancer patients cautioned against use of herbs. You know, when people get breast cancer, apparently some people tend to use herbs and hope that it's going to go away, or they believe that it's going to go away. But turns out that the herbs actually don't work. It's better to follow the protocols. And all right, 4 million more COVID-19 vaccines coming. Yay! So that's the Ministry of Health says Ghana is expecting about 4 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines in the next 3 weeks. The Chief Director of the Ministry of Health, Mr. Kwabena Bwedu Oku Afare, has announced out of the 4 million, 3.5 million will be from Pfizer. That's wonderful. So the Pfizer is the single dose. So yes, that's 3.5 million people going to be vaccinated. That's wow. All right. So yes, we should be excited, and you should be out there taking advantage of the vaccination exercises.
Yeah, definitely.
I've been saying that we'll try and get the Ghana Health Service to share with us the places that people can go to get vaccinated. So we can share that with you. Fraud, limited funds affect NHIS implementation. It says in spite of the challenges, the NHIS has successfully enrolled 16 million active members, representing 52% of the population. Okay, that's good. GES promotes award-winning teachers. Each of the teachers was promoted from their current rank to the next rank ahead of them as a means of motivating them. So that's also really good. Police Service opens expanded chapel. So the Ghana Police Service has opened this newly expanded and remodeled Ghana Police Church Chapel. That's somewhere around 37 Military Hospital. And 50 HR practitioners inducted into Institute, Ethiopia Understudies Nursing and Midwifery Council's system. And tobacco use threat to public health. That's the FDA saying that. Let's go to the sports page. Hearts give up on Awako. Says player not registered for Premier League, so Awako won't be featuring for Accra Hearts of Oak. And then table tennis, Eva Kome win Homowo Challenge Championship. And on the back page, Hearts split points with Legon Cities. They didn't lose.
Okay, let's go into the Ghanaian Times this morning. Front page of the Ghanaian Times. President leads Ghana's delegation to UN COP26 in Scotland. I'll support fight against illegal sale of bone kataman. So lands. Just One Group tops Ghana Business Awards. And health alert, there's a strange disease outbreak in Savannah region. 8 people dead so far. They're suspecting that it's yellow fever, but hasn't been fully confirmed yet. 1 died, 2 injured in gas explosion. Now, 2 suspects have been arrested for blocking the China Mall entrance. And if you've been following the story, you know that there's a China Mall that's going to be set up close to the West Hills Mall. And so a couple of people from the West Hills Mall were actually James Mensah, the facility manager of West Hills Mall, and Samuel Anumeje, a contractor, are in custody of the Wager police assisting in investigations. Apparently, some people went to pour some blocks and stuff, you know, to kind of block the entrance of this said China Mall, which, I don't know, you know, yeah. So anyway, it's going to bring some
It's lawless.
Competition.
I mean, it's lawlessness, so the police should deal with it.
It's
I mean, how do you block a competitor's entrance. It shouldn't happen.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't.
Yeah.
It shouldn't. I have all sorts of feelings about this, though. Because you can understand, well, I mean, you can understand without agreeing with what it feels like when like a China Mall is going to be come and set up, near a West Hills Mall, which has different shops from different countries, so South Africa shop, right, Ghanaian shops, and all of that. And then there's China Mall, where everything is like, like it kind of just, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, but you can't.
You can't do that, obviously. Yeah. But sometimes I wonder about how some of these permits are issued. Do some of these things, are they factored into consideration?
Yeah.
About the fact that you're kind of just killing, basically, because.
I mean, because already the West Hills Mall is challenged.
Because
the number of the shops,
have shut down.
Yeah, shut down.
Yeah. Already, and then China Mall, and everybody's gonna throng to the China Mall because there's like 2 cities, 5 cities, everything's.
But you see, when you also do this, you're actually, now that the issue is in the news, everybody has become aware that there's a China Mall.
Well, either ways, we were going to be aware at some point, sooner rather than later, in this case. Okay, First Lady rally support for Kolebu Teaching Hospital. And there's some notices by the Narcotics Control Commissioner about those of you who have been growing things in your backyard and in your bedrooms in pots and stuff. It's like, y'all better stop. Y'all need to chill. Stop growing illegal things in your backyards, in your gardens.
What are the illegal things?
I don't know.
They are plants. They could just have been sprouting.
They don't just sprout. They really just don't sprout. As in like they carried in the wind.
Yes.
From where? From another illegal site.
It could be birds. It could be
high birds. Like the birds were high. And then they dropped them. Israel power. Superstition fueling lack of patronage of blood donation. Okay. Surgeon advises women to practice self-breast examination. I hope that this past October you went out and got your breast examined. World AIDS Day launched. Government to amend 3% holding tax on unprocessed minerals. Okay, circular economy will open markets for Ghanaians' economy. Aguero taken to hospital after suffering chest discomfort. Ghanaian football talent Ryan Pepra dreaming big. Bayern Munich bounces back. That's amazing for Bayern Munich, who was being used as an example for the Hearts of Oak fiasco. The Hearts of Oak tragedy, I think that's what we're calling it. They've bounced back. Hearts of Oak clearly hasn't. Okay, Ronaldo hails Man United performance against Spurs. Zaha suffers racist abuse on social media after a win with City. And on the back page, Kotoko Thrash dreams in comeback win. Because that's just how we do. Cities hold hearts. Hearts of Oak failed to pluck a win in their opening tie of the Ghana Premier League against Legon Cities at the Accra Sports Stadium. Asante Kotoko, on the other hand, staged a remarkable comeback when they scored 3 times in the last 5 minutes to beat Dreams FC 3-1. That's how you do it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Let's go to the finder.
You have nothing to say?
No. Let's go to the finder. 8 died from suspected yellow fever outbreak in Savannah region. That's the Ghana Health Service saying that. ACA deal is key to GMP's 15-year ambition to become standalone operator by 2035. That's the CEO of GMPC saying that. So, and then investors flee T-bills due to drop in interest rates and opt for bond market. 4-member committee to investigate attack on Swami Police Station. And then Health Services Workers Union calls off strike. That's interesting. We should find out how all that is playing out in the regions and the hospitals where once they went on strike, there was nothing really happening. The hospitals were filthy, smelling, and all of that, and patients were very uncomfortable. Let's see how it goes now that they've called off the strike. That'll be it for me for the finder.
Okay, so just in under a minute, I'll just run through the daily guide. 117 get fish response from Bree Power Authority. Arrest them. Otunfo charges police. Police chased Medina MP to church. NDC accepted election 2020 results. So Otunfo is backing the Ghana Police and the NRSA to deal with anybody who would hide behind the Marshall Palace to flout road traffic regulations. And the police also went to Francis Xavier Sosu's church, the Believers Church at Ritz Junction in Medina, where the MP was said to be worshipping yesterday, I guess in an attempt to arrest him. But, you know, the Speaker of Parliament did give a directive.
So this one says police, but the police is saying that they don't know anything.
They don't know anything about it. Okay.
I mean, they didn't send people.
But there were police there. HIV, that's very interesting. HIV fund in the offing. International stories. Sudan's anti-coup protests continue after deadly crackdown. Huge blaze shuts fuel pipeline in South Africa. And let me just do quickly, obviously the 409 law students case adjourned. We'll be having that conversation later on, so I'll just leave it. But in entertainment news, Zandi Kamel's marriage breaks down. That story, the Manifest Medina to Invest album for November 17, and Bulldog thanks President Akufo-Addo for dropping his threat.
So Zandi Kamel has been trending over the weekend because she put out a video where she's crying and, you know, she's calling out the side chick of the husband,
who used to be his ex apparently, and also his her best friend, who says that she actually stole. It's just the whole thing is just, you know,
so much drama. And apparently there's a video too that has surfaced of Zandi Kamel indicating that, yeah, I mean, as side chicks are very important. And as side chicks, if you lose God, will take your husband.
Wow.
That was before. And
wow,
now
interesting.
You call it karma, right?
Yeah, I guess we call it karma. Unfortunate though, but that's it. Should we do My Joy Online really quickly?
Yes, let's do My Joy Online.
Okay, let's be careful we don't create a monster out of the IGP. That's Muntaka speaking. Further down, it's wrong to resist arrest even if you have not committed a crime. Legal practitioner. Backbench summon of police officers is out of order. Also by another lawyer, Akufo-Addo attends COP26 summit in Glasgow. Police bodyguard of Medina MP interdicted. That's going to Muntaka. When able to release Francis Xavier Sosu to you, Parliament tells police, Health Service Workers Union call off the strike. We thank God for that. We need a definition of what a parliamentary duty is. And day 4 of the Joy News Habitat Fair 2021 ends today, I believe.
Yes, it ends today, and I was there yesterday. And there's quite a bit to get to see when you go to the fair. So please make your way there if you haven't already. It's the final day.
Okay, well, that's it for the news review. The sports is coming up right after we take a break. And of course, we have some very interesting conversations for you. So we'll be talking National Science and Maths quiz and all the highlights, all the diesels. We'll also be having that conversation about those 499 law school students who were unable to gain admission to the Ghana School of Law, Makola, as we know it, and what's happening there. We have some interesting guests coming through to have that conversation. So stay tuned in. You don't want to go anywhere. You definitely don't want to miss the coming conversations.
With the right dreams, you shall prosper. This is the voice of Asante Kotoko faithfuls as the Porcupines began the new Ghana Premier League campaign with a magical 6 minutes recovery to beat Dreams FC 3-1. Elsewhere, it was a frustrating outing for the defending champions Hearts of Oak as Eric Ofori entry inspired Legon City held the Phobians to a 0-0 stalemate. Ghana FA President Kurt Okereku files CAF structure for Women's Football Qualification Series after Black Queens missed out on AFCON 2022. And Ghana's Samson Dean is the president of the Africa Paralympic Committee. Hello everyone, I am Muftau Nabila Abdullah. Welcome to AM Sports here on Joy News. We start with Kumasi Asante Kotoko, who staged a memorable comeback against Dreams FC at the Accra Sports Stadium on match day 1 of the new Premier League. Second half substitute Isaac Opon provided 2 assists and scored a well-taken goal to help the Porcupine Warriors triumph after Fatau Isako had given Dreams the lead.
Let's signal the two teams into action here in Accra. It's Dreams FC versus Asante Kotoko in the Ghana Premier League that doesn't want to take chances. Referee whistles. It is Amankuna. He banks one. Good save from Agbesi. Wonderful goalkeeping. Observer Mwako will gallop forward for Asante Kotoko, puts one through for Gama. Now he steps forward. That's what to go past his marker. It's Gama! Brilliant save from Agbesi again to deny Fabio Gama. Started from Dreams FC losing the ball in their own half, and Gama then had a lot to do. What about that to check onto his left? He's looking to kill it into the top corner, not quite into the top corner, but Marcus still, Odro's moving on. Lovely play from Ishahaku for Tao. And Bafo shot is blocked, and great goalkeeping from Razak Abalora to deny Mohamed Suleimana. And the ball is setting up very well for Suleimana, picks up his stride and unleashes one. He goes for the shot corner. Jalilu hands it back to Fatawi Sahaku. He goes for goal, and Abalora called to duty. Gama picks out Christopher Nete, who goes with a left-footed drive. Great save from Agbesi again. This will be Lamptey who will be pushing further up the pitch. Amakunani didn't really have a good game for his own standards. Yep, it is Dreams. Fatawi Sahaku, lovely play. Fatawi Sahaku, this is magical. Absolutely astonishing, brilliant play from the under-20 gold winner. This is magical. There's a talented, confident mood. Fatawi Sahaku, the man who at the moment has the world at his feet. Checked in the wonderful run. The ball through is good. Ganu's position is Mubarak, as he says, position is. Here is Isaac Opon, very skillful. He sets Mudasiru up. Mudasiru! Kotoko grabs the equalizer. Lovely feet, a lovely skill. Plays Mudasiru through. But I'm thinking Agbesi has been good today, but I'm thinking Agbesi should have stepped off his line earlier, try and close down the angle and give Mudasiru a lot to think about, but he stayed on his line. Didn't read Asma's delivery. Here is Opon! And what a dream debut for Isaac Opon. He has handed Kotoko the lead, and Prosper Nete joins in the celebration. Far back line down, the ball comes in, it is good. Into the far post, they can't deal with it. That's what with the control with the chest. And blasted into the roof of the net. Agbesi, who's been so good today, can't stop that. And Opon, on his debut for Kotoko, has set up one and has finished off one. Kotoko 2 goals. The Mombafo ball came over him and smashed in brilliantly by Opon. Now here is Dixon of Fuakwa. Now it is Opon, goes back to Lamptey with a drive, and it's a third goal. Asante Kotoko up by 3 goals to 1. Debut goal for Richmond Lamptey, and this is an absolute beauty. Kotoko up by 3-1 against Dreams. It's Opon.
Let's hear from the coach of Kumasi, Asante Kotoko, Prosper Nate Ogun, who says that they took advantage of Dreams FC's poor shape after they took the lead.
And move on to win, because when they scored, they became complacent, lost their shape, especially on the flanks, and that was why I brought in Isaac to the right flank to be able to capitalize on those spaces that they left on the left side. And as far as Isaku is concerned, when they scored, he also decided to play differently by staying alone up there. Either he was coming for the ball and taking our players on, but then this time he wanted the ball to be moved to him, so it made it relatively easier for us to hold on to him and then keep to our game plan. So even though we're down by a goal to 1, I was very confident that we're going to score, because already we had created scoring opportunities, but the goalkeeper stood between us and the equalizer. And once the pressure started mounting on them, I knew they were going to get tired, and the goalkeeper was also going to get tired. And truly, were able to capitalize on those tiredness and lack of shape, especially on their left side of defense, to go on to win.
We talk about Accra House of Oak and Legon Cities right now, and their game ended 0-0 at the Accra Sports Stadium on Sunday. And the coach of Legon Cities, Maxwell Konode, said that he came out with a strategy to frustrate House of Oak, say that they wouldn't be able to play. And also, according to the head coach of Accra House of Oak, Samuel Bodu, Every team ultimate target is the Phobians, but he's very confident that they will come out unscratched.
We came with a game plan and though not perfect, but we were able to hold them, try to frustrate them with our combination passes, and to some extent it worked. So when we were able to hold them for the first half, we saw that they decided to go long. That is where we started picking the second balls and playing our game.
How impressed were you by your new players who made their debut today for the side?
Yeah, though it's our first match, we know House of Folk is in competition already. We made some elementary mistakes by, playing from the back was a bit difficult. But we'll go on to work on it and make sure that we do it better next time.
Your fans will look back on this game and be thinking, these are the champions. It is their home. We have the points we didn't lose. Maybe this could be a special season for us. What do you say to them?
Well, we wish us all the best in Africa, because when they go and lift the flag of Ghana high, Ghana football only benefits. So we wish them all the best. But back to our game, we knew that when we frustrate them by holding on to the ball, they can't play. They will start to go long, and it happened. They were not patient enough. They went for long balls, and we picked the second ball and played our game.
Brilliant stuff. Congratulations. It is the point away at home to the champions, Constitutes. Coach, thank you very much. All the best next time.
Thank you very much.
Coach, somewhat a false start. Not the start we were hoping for. It's a draw. How do you sum up the game?
Yeah, it's a very good game. As you can see, the Constitutes are well prepared, and House of Folk, I told you that everybody target us is on House of Folk, but we never give up. We know definitely that we progress match after match.
Are you disappointed that you didn't score today? It's 2 games now, or in 3 games where you scored. In the last 3 games, you scored just once. Are you worried about?
No, not at all, because this is the time that we have to sit down and analyze the situation, where the problem is, so that we can solve the problem, then we take off.
Where do you think the problem was today?
Yeah, it was the attacking side, because we created a lot of chances. At least we should have scored 1 goal, but we squandered all the chances, but we still have more time to work on them.
Let's talk about Great Olympics, and they were held to a 1-1 stalemate by RTU, who made a return to the Ghana Premier League. Despite this, head coach of the team, Anor Walker, has told Joy Sports their target is to finish among the top 2 teams at the end of the Premier League campaign.
My regular side, I've lost Awako and Michelle. I'll miss them. But for now, those I've had have made me happy in a way that I'm only looking at my first match, then I conclude that I'm happy having replacement. But what I'm seeing has also given me the confidence. It's the same target that I've put before me, that at least I have to be in the top 4. But like I always say, if God gives me first, second, I'll thank the Almighty. So my target is to be in the top 4. But I'm looking at the top 2 with another.
Let's take a look at the full results of match day 1 in the Ghana Premier League, and Bechimi United, they thumped Midiama SC by 4-0. But the game started on Friday, where it was Accra Lions who drew 1-1 against Elmina Sharks, and Dreams FC lost 1-3 to Asante Kotoko. Bechimi United were 4-0 winners over Dreams FC. Bibiane Gold Stars 1-0 against Brekum Chelsea. Their stadium was full to its brim in their first ever Ghana Premier League match. 11 Wonders sat at home and lost 1-0 to Ashanti Gold. Accra House of Folk drew 0-0 against Constitutes. Kerala United drew 1-1 against Aduana Stars. King Faisal 1-0 against Wafa, and Real Tamale United, which was the last game of match day 1 in the Ghana Premier League, were also held at the Aliu Muhammad Stadium 1-1 by Great Olympics. Now we talk about some women's football now, where President of the Ghana Football Association, Ket Okreko, has said that he's putting a proposal to ensure that the Confederation of African Football restructured the qualification series of the AOCON. Ghana came up against Nigeria and missed out on the place of participating in the next edition of the competition. And he says that it is not the right structure not to have the best of teams in the West Africa region out of the World Cup and even the African Women's Cup of Nations.
super good against Nigeria in both games. Unfortunately, the scorelines didn't reflect, but it is normal, especially when the format of the competition does not protect the superpowers of football on the West African coast. And that has been one of my clarion calls at the CAF level. I want the format changed, because Africa must be represented by the best clubs, by the best nations, by the best countries, by the best national teams. And if it is that Ghana has to play against Cameroon, against Nigeria, against Ivory Coast, it is not fair. Okay, and I've spoken at varied levels of football in the world. And it's something that I'm going to push until that justice is done. Okay, the Black Wings deserve to be at the next level of the game. They were totally dominant in both legs against Nigeria, but they lost. It doesn't mean there's no right levels of investment. We are investing. The positives are there. The girls are happy, and I call on everybody to be on our side to develop the women's game, because we are putting a lot of energy in this perspective.
On this note, we say thanks very much for joining us for AM Sports with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. We appreciate your company.
All right, you're still here on the AM show, and we're getting into our main conversation for this morning. It has to do with the 499 law graduates who were seeking to gain admission into the Ghana School of Law. It turned out that they were denied based on the fact that the results of the entrance exam they sat was, or they wrote, the Ghana School of Law says they didn't pass or they didn't qualify. But then they've made the argument that what the Ghana School of Law actually means is that they didn't get 50% in both Section A and Section B. And they're saying that that's unfair. Now, they staged a demonstration. They've embarked on a street protest. They've actually gone to court. They've petitioned Parliament. Now, Parliament on Friday indicated that, or directed the Ghana School of Law to admit these students. I have with me the South Dai Member of Parliament, Roxanne Nelson Afia-Mekbo, who is a member of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee. And then Jonathan Alua, a lawyer and former SRC president at the Ghana School of Law. He is joining us via Zoom, so we'll be getting to him also in a bit. But I'd want to start with Mr. Afia-Mekbo. Now, Parliament is saying, and welcome, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Israel, and good morning to my good people in South Dine. Peki, Bali, Kweve, and Tongo. I traveled, I just got back.
Okay, you went to them? You went to?
No, I took a quick trip, parliamentary duties outside, so I couldn't visit last weekend.
Outside the country?
Yes.
Okay, you had a visa?
It was a visa-free country.
Okay. That's just by the way.
Yes.
Okay, so what exactly is Parliament asking the Ghana School of Law to do?
Yes, it's come to the attention of Parliament that on the 14th of May this year, the General Legal Council, acting through one of its bodies, that's the Independent Examinations Board, put out a public notice to the effect that they were receiving applications from persons who were holding LLB degrees to apply to sit for the entrance examination that they will conduct.
Yeah.
And so in that notice, they put out all the conditions and rubrics governing the conduct of the exams. And so Israel, particularly if you look at paragraph 5, subparagraph 3 of that notice, it was very clear that every candidate that obtains the minimum pass mark that will be set by the General Legal Council will be admitted. It was not even said that will be admitted, you will just be admitted. And the minimum pass mark as set by the General Legal Council is 50% for the exam. Now, persons rushed to go pay 550, I'm told, and wrote these exams. They were in excess of 2,700 in total. And eventually, the results came out. When the results came out, it was discovered that about 2,289 had obtained the minimum pass mark of 50% or more. In fact, the pass mark ranged between 50% to 84%.
All right.
So, but somehow, the General Legal Council released 790 names as being the pass mark. So there is...
As being those who had passed?
Yes, as being those, as the pass list.
Okay.
So those, naturally, those who also wrote the exams and didn't find their index number on this 790 pass list, agitated for the publication, the publication of the full list, which means the over 2,700 names should be published. So that the pass mark will indicate, or the pass list will indicate from ascending order, from a descending order, the highest to the lowest of the pass mark. So what happened was they released the raw scores. Then a trouble struck. Why? Because some persons discovered that even though they got as much as 65%, their names were not among the 790. Some discovered that they got 55%, but their names were not among the 790. Someone even said that he got as high as 68%. Her name was not among the 790. But in scrutinizing the 790 list, so many students got just 50%.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So if we were taking the cutoff, if the cutoff were placed at a certain mark, somebody who got 68 and is closer to 84 should feature in there. So there were agitations. So the response of the General Legal Council through the Board of Legal Education, which is the law school, now was to issue another notice. And this notice was to the effect that, now the criteria was that you were to obtain 50% or more as Section A of the paper, and also 50% or more as Section B of the paper, in order for you to qualify. And Israel, I've been writing exams ever since I was about age 5. I've never seen this kind of thing. Never. And I also attended law school.
Yeah.
Never. So clearly, even if this is the new formal law school intends to adopt, so be it. In any case, in our time, there was no even any entrance exam.
Yeah.
We just walked in and studied and wrote the exam set course per course, and we graduated.
Okay, so then Parliament comes in.
So hold on. So the agitation has been that, okay, so admit the numbers who, pursuant to the earlier conditions, have crossed 50%, so that in the future we can deal with this. The JLC won't speak to this issue. Until today, as we speak, they've not spoken or not addressed the issue. So the matter, like I opened my remarks, this came to the attention of Parliament. And Parliament feels that no, it cannot be, we can't allow this to happen. And I've heard people making all sorts of comments whether Parliament is closed with power. Really?
Yes.
We are fully clothed with the powers.
You see, before we actually get to that,
yes,
I'm wondering, have you actually approached the GLC and told them, okay, come to us and explain to us why you are refusing to, respond to the concerns of these students?
GLC itself hasn't come. When this matter came to Parliament, we were on recess. And the matter broke for about 3 weeks or so before we came back. So we have been hoping that, pursuant to all the agitations, GLC would
say something.
Will say something and even explain Give reasons. They won't speak, they won't talk to anybody. Now, you ask whether Parliament had approached GLC.
So you invite them?
In these circumstances, we don't need to invite GLC because time is of the essence. They are proceeding with arrangements as if there's nothing happening. They've issued timetables. They've asked students to go onto the website and get and be assigned their campuses and orientation and all that. So clearly, they are not minded to listen to anybody. So the best thing for Parliament to do is to give the directive. In any case, Israel, the law school admitted over 1,000 students last year. In fact, 1,045 is what they claim they did, but we have evidence that they admitted more than 1,045. So if a school that admitted 1,045 just 12 months ago and is running what they called multi-track system, what prevents the same school from admitting a similar number this year? Indeed, if we want to talk of progress. So clearly, it appears that the General Legal Council is adamant in these matters. Now, very interestingly, they have been sued by these students. They've taken the matter to court. If you read the affidavit in opposition to the motion filed by the students, it's such a tragedy.
Affidavit in opposition to the motion filed by the students?
By the students.
Then probably by GLC. So GLC has filed? Or?
No, GLC has responded to the application on notice. And so they are resisting the grant of injunction. Now, in doing so, for instance, in paragraph 16 of their affidavit, GLC says that they never put out the notice, the notice that if you get 50%, you qualify, you'll be admitted. In one other paragraph, they are citing discretionary powers. But our Constitution is very clear in Article 296. You cannot exercise your discretionary powers whimsically, capriciously. You understand? So they are walking themselves into a ditch. That is why Parliament wants to rescue the situation. In any case, in about 2 or 3 weeks' time, you'll be coming before Parliament for money, for budgetary allocations. We are supposed to even do performance review for their financial performance this year, for the activities that we allocated monies for them this year. So admission of students, training of professional students, and all are part of the functions of the Board of Legal Education.
It brings us to the other question, which you actually alluded to. Yeah. Does Parliament have the power to direct the GLC or whichever institution to admit these students?
Okay, we do. Let me refer you to Article 103.3 of the Constitution. It says that Committees of Parliament, okay, Article 103.1 says, Parliament shall appoint standing committees and other committees as may be necessary for the effective discharge of its functions. Now, 103.3 says, committees of Parliament shall be charged with such functions, including the investigation and inquiry into the activities and administration of ministries and departments as Parliament may determine. And such investigation and inquiries may extend to proposals for legislation.
Okay, so I see ministries and departments.
Yes. The General Legal Council is a statutory body set up by an Act of Parliament, Act 32. In fact, 3 years ago, when the issue about the admission of the 128 out of the almost 3,000 students, they came before us. And one of the things we did for the General Legal Council was that there were, those days when you pass, about 3 or 4 years ago, when you pass the entrance exams, you were not immediately admitted. You had to go through an interview. And the complaints were that they were using the interview more to frustrate people. So we took out the interview component.
Okay.
So if we don't have the power,
you're saying that, I mean, based on that, you actually have the power.
We have power. We have directed.
I would want to get to Jonathan Anlua. He's a lawyer and former SRC president, Ghana School of Law. He's joining us via Zoom. Good morning to you, Jonathan. How do you read all of that that's going on, especially the bit about Parliament directing that the Ghana School of Law admit the 499? I suspect.
And Israel, before Lua comes in, let nobody confuses what's happening to the other issues or what has happened in the past. This one, they have passed.
Okay.
They have passed the entrance. The GLC is arguing inadequacy of fiscal space.
Well, they haven't actually brought that in. So for now,
look at the affidavit in opposition. I'll refer you to that. I will forward it to you.
All right. So, Jonathan, where do you stand on all of this? You must be happy that the Parliament is on the side of the students.
Good morning, Israel, and good morning to the Honourable Member of Parliament and everybody listening and watching you. Israel, I'm completely excited, that somebody, not even Parliament, somebody has spoken out about the injustice. When I saw the argument about the constitutionality of the directive and all of that, I wasn't swayed to even join, the bandwagon and argue about whether or not they have the power to do that or not. This is a situation where clearly the GLC doesn't have the power to act in the manner that they are acting, but we've all folded our hands in despair and we are watching them. And I jokingly said that if our beloved farmers even want to direct the GLC out of frustration to do what they should do and undo the injustice that they've, meted out to these students, we should support it. And so I'm completely with Parliament, devoid of the constitutional argument of whether or not they have the power. Somebody has to call the GLC to order. As the Honourable Member said, nobody is allowed to have that level of arbitrariness. You cannot be a body making decisions capriciously or whimsically, and your defense will be that you have discretionary power. Now, this is a practice that has gone on for so long. In my year, as the Honourable Member was saying, we were 1,801 students who applied for this exam, 456 passed. Now, they admitted us, and in the next year, which is what caused the demonstration and the police brutalities and all of that, if you would recall, they admitted 128 students out of 1,820. Okay. That was completely hilarious, and so we demonstrated and all of that. And in the next year, and people are reading political signals into this, and I think everybody has the right to make analysis of this situation because it doesn't really make sense. They admitted 1,045 students and decided to introduce what they call a multiple track, as the Honourable Member said. They divided the students into 3 groups, and they've been doing that for a while. They are now progressing to part 2. Now, this year, following the same scheme, now it must be said that Israel, my year group, the pass mark was 50. There was nothing like objectives and, section B, section A. It was 50. Once you hit 50, you are in. It was the same for the 128 students. In fact, as a matter of fact, before us, there was a year where the pass mark was 46. There was a year where they took students who had 46. So we had all assumed and understood that the pass mark now is 50, and everybody knows that. And this year, clearly because they don't have space, as the Honourable Member has said, that's all they are, saying in their affidavit in opposition to the application by the students. They are saying they don't have space. And so they decided in a knee-jerk fashion to say, okay, you know what, let's massage the numbers. If we stick to 50, we are going to have 1,000 students, a little over 1,000 students, and that will be problematic for us. So why don't we, find a means of reducing numbers? And that's how they arrived at this objectives and theory thing. And that's completely, unlawful. And I congratulate Parliament for being bold, but this is not the first time we've been here. If the Honourable Member will remember, we came to Parliament, we came to them complaining about remarking fees. At the time, remarking fees stood at 3,000 cedis. So you had to pay 3,000 cedis to mark one paper. Now we came to Parliament, Parliament investigated this matter, issued directives, and Israel, they did nothing about it. This is a body that should understand the law better than anybody, but they did nothing about it. It took incessant complaints, a lot of demonstrations, lobbying for them to finally reduce it. Parliament recommended 500 cedis, but we only got a reduction to 1,500 cedis. So I think all I'm trying to say is that Parliament is the legislative wing of Ghana. They are one of the most powerful institutions in this country. And if we have them coming on board to support the plight of these students, I'm all in for it. Let's forget about, the technicalities and all of that. Let's see where this goes. I am personally skeptical that the GLC, given their past reaction to things like this, will obey the directive. I hope they prove me wrong. But even if they don't, there's a bit of political compulsion out of this directive from Parliament.
All right.
I'll really be...
So, Jonathan, the GLC can say that, well, we don't have the spaces. You can say that, well, you admitted over 1,000 last year, and so you should have at least 1,000 slots. But they'll say, well, we looked at the way we operated there with over 1,000, and we realized that, well, we have challenges, and so we can't continue that way. What can be done about it? They're saying we don't have the space.
Israel, that's not true, because this year they are not using their facilities. I'm told this year for the Part 1 students they've rented space at UPSC. So this is a school that understands that we can take measures to accommodate numbers, because they don't have physical space, and that's the point we've been making. We can't sit down for over half a decade. We've been at this training lawyers in the country, and we didn't know that a day will come when we'll need more space to house students. I won't talk about the law village they are constructing now, but they have gone to rent space at UPSA. So Israel, if they are really minded to undo the injustice that they've done to the 499 law students, they'll find space to house these people. They'll rent bigger space and give them the legal education that they are entitled to because they passed the entrance exam.
All right. Thank you very much, Jonathan. But
may I add a few words? Now, Israel, it's ironical that the General Legal Council, via the Board of Legal Education, is crying about inadequacy of funds to complete the law village. Each student in the law school pays annually about 15,500 annual fees. If you admit 1,200 or 1,300 students, multiply that by 15,000.
You're looking at, 15 million?
It's about 20 million.
Okay.
All right. Now, if for a year, you have about 1,000 students in Part 2 and about 1,300 students in Part 1, that gives you about 2,300. 2,300 students times 15,000. The law school can complete the law village in a year or two with this kind of funding. Importantly of all, with the advent of COVID, the law school now trains they use Zoom to deliver lectures. I know students who recently completed and graduated. The whole of this year, prior to their exams and graduation, they were using Zoom. They were sending them lectures via Zoom. Assignments were delivered by Zoom and answered and also returned to the lecturers via Zoom.
So it's saying they can expand their classrooms
No,
virtually.
so now by the law school's own introductory policies, they have reformed how lectures are delivered. So you don't need 1,000 students to sit in situ, physically in a classroom, to deliver lectures. And that is part of the forward-looking reforms. So this kind of reforms should rather encourage the law school to admit more.
Why, I mean, in the light of all the things that you said, why then will the GLC necessarily want to frustrate students or people from obtaining the law degree?
It beggars the question, Israel. This is a country that is saying that.
I want to believe they must have some very good reason.
They are not speaking, so you can't even think for them, because you see, the legal profession is arguably like the medical profession. But the medical profession is no longer even that. The legal profession is the only profession which, when you graduate, you don't need the intervention of the public service to get yourself into employment. you are able to set up quickly and earn a living. In fact, the law permits you to employ. The only thing the law doesn't allow you to do is to recruit your colleague lawyers until you attain age 7 at the bar. So as a young practitioner, after your pupillage, you can set up your chamber.
Yeah, and an entrepreneur.
And an entrepreneur and recruit workers. They will work for you. When you attain 7 years, you recruit other lawyers. So we are really, it's really strange that such an opportunity exists for us to train more lawyers. We are frustrating the process. Israel, all the district assemblies in this country, about 99%, they do not have lawyers. Meanwhile, as a member of the Public Accounts Committee, every year that we interrogate Auditor General's report, this issue of getting lawyers, legal officers to help the assemblies to reduce some of these infractions becomes very clear.
Is it the case that the lawyers are not available, or the lawyers are available, but they prefer to be in Accra?
No, that is not the case. If I graduate and a district and my district, Southern District Assembly, is willing to employ me as a legal officer, a lot of young lawyers are willing to take it up. Because we are decrying the fact that we don't have enough lawyers. In the whole, Samson and I had a program on Newsfile about 2-3 weeks ago, and he put out some interesting statistics. A research was conducted by my own classmate, Dennis Ejejumo. He says in the whole of the Upper East, Upper East and Upper West, we have only about 13 lawyers. And the whole of the northern region, the northern sector, we have about 32 or 33 lawyers. A general population of about 1.3 million people. I mean, look at the ratio.
All right, so back to this directive. It was issued on Friday. Have you heard any word from the GLC or any indication that they're likely to comply?
The likelihood to comply or the non-likelihood for them to comply now doesn't lie with them at all. They have no choice. But what I want to say is that the directives came on Friday, at the close of business Friday. So the directive will be prepared by speakership, the Speaker's Secretariat, and through the clerk will be delivered to them. That's the procedure. It will be communicated. In fact, the directives were, after the resolution, the directives were directed at two entities, the Attorney General himself and the GLC. Because you see, the Attorney General too is represented on the General Legal Council. So, pursuant to Act 32, he has oversight. So we are asking him, as the Minister of State, to instruct the GLC to admit the students. That's one. We are also further asking the GLC itself, as a council, to take steps and admit the students.
Okay.
We are not saying anything further than that.
So you've indicated, take steps to admit the students.
Yes.
The steps they are supposed to take could be take a month, 2 months.
No, if we say admit them,
the
admission is today. In fact, they were to have...
They can defer the admission.
No, you cannot, because you see, it's time bound. The lectures are time bound. They were to have started lectures last week. It was postponed due to some internal issues. So my information is that the lectures are starting this morning. Our expectation is that they will write to all... They know the 499. My good friend Maxwell Opoku Ajimai calls them Apollo 499. They know the Apollo 499, so they must send them text messages to come quickly, receive the admission letters, take steps to pay the deposits of 9,600 so they can process them for...
Anyway, it may well be possible that some people have received text. You're out there, you belong to the 499. You may have received a text message indicating that you should come to the school and start lectures. If you've received any such text message, please let us know here on the show so we can get to it. But we should also be looking at the possibility of these students not being admitted, even though you've given the directive.
Parliament
has given the directive. And it's interesting that
I don't want to say anything, But I shudder to think of the consequences that GLC will ignore directive of the Parliament of Ghana. GLC is a creature of statute. It is not even part of the judiciary. A lot of people have come into that mistaken belief. No, the GLC is born by Act 32. It is the representation that is geared towards a lot of serving judges. So it gives it that semblance. It is not. It's a normal state institution manned by senior public servants. They shouldn't do that.
Now, Jonathan, I'm sure you are in touch with some of the students, the 499 that's been affected. Do you have any indication that they probably have received any such text messages from the school?
As of this morning, none of my friends has been able to confirm that the law school has reached out to them with any such positive news. So I think we are still very much in the dark on that issue. But I just want to quickly say something to the honorable member. You see, we are skeptical. I'm part of the skeptics, who don't think that the GLC are going to obey the order of the House because there's precedent. And I pointed you to the time when we came to your house, petitioned the House, you investigated the matter, issued a directive to the GLC to reduce remarking fees, and nothing was done about it, and that was the end of it. And so we, the skeptics, rely on that.
What they did was we asked for 500, they were charging 3,000. We asked them to cut it down to 500. They cut it down to half, that's 1,500. When they came for budget performance review, they gave some reasons. And given that they had paid the monies to some of these professionals who marked the papers, and so it was difficult to go back. It was embarrassing to them. So they took our recommendation strongly, but they thought that they wanted to meet the examiners who marked the papers halfway. That going forward, they were going to implement our recommendation. So, yes, I can understand that we gave a figure.
They didn't fully comply.
They didn't fully take the figure into consideration because in the law, we all, even the court will want to listen to reasonable excuse. So they gave reasonable excuse. So we allowed them.
So Jonathan, are you still skeptical?
So I still very much remain a skeptic until I see that the GLC has complied this time around, because the GLC has managed to build itself into an institution that's almost above the law. There was a court order last year, Honorable. Yes. Last year, the case of Ganaku and others versus the GLC and the Attorney General, there was another that asked them not to, continue with the practice. In fact, the first thing was that they asked them to make available the raw scores for the students who took the exam. That was never done. This is an order of the High Court. That was never complied with, and this matter went nowhere. And of course, you can understand, as he said, the GLC is made up of senior-most justices of the Supreme Court. It's made up of the Attorney General, nominees of, the President, the Bar President. It's a powerful institution, so I can understand if they elevate themselves to that stature. But in all fairness, we should all begin to act within the remits of the law, and I hope this will inform, it will redirect all of us to act accordingly.
Right. Thank you very much, Jonathan Alua. He's a lawyer and former SRC president, Ghana School of Law. Thank you for joining this conversation. But, Mr. Dafiameko, we are looking at the possibility that the GLC, as Jonathan is saying, they may again just justify or give a reasonable explanation why they can't admit these students. What next?
The reasonableness or otherwise of what they will say by way of not complying with our directive will not be founded. We are rather giving the directive on reasonable grounds. Parliament is saying you are already training over 1,000 students. You already admitted over 1,000 students and trained them through the Part 1 courses. They have progressed to Part 2. So if we were able to train over 1,000 students for them to progress to Part 2, There should be no basis why you shouldn't admit another over 1,000 students for part 1. It's as simple as that. In any case, at the time you admitted over 1,000 students, there were other students also in part 2 who exited last year. So now the last year admissions, they have now progressed to part 2. In any case, as part of the reforms we are asking for, is to even empower the faculties to train their products so that we write one national bar exams. Look, Israel, about 20 years ago, only University of Ghana could train medical doctors. It became an issue. So UDS, so Tech was encouraged to introduce, they began to produce doctors about 20 years ago. UDS joined. Now UCC has joined. There's Professor Kwakume's Family Health Medical School, private one. There's UHAS now. All these institutions are producing doctors, and yet we still say that we have the doctor general population patient ratio is poor. The lawyers in this country, according to the statistics, we are less than 6,000 or 7,000. We need more lawyers. We need more. Look, it's not every trained lawyer who practices who is a courtroom animal. There are a lot of lawyers who can do a lot of things. Samson is a courtroom animal, but he's still a journalist. And I believe that by being a lawyer, it makes him a better journalist. I have been in law class with medical doctors who were practitioners, but have come to train as lawyers. And I believe that having become lawyers, they would have become better medical practitioners.
That's like the Ghana Medical Association General Secretary.
Yangtze was a year behind me. I even speak of those that I sat in class with. So there are chiefs who are training as lawyers now, just for the sake of what they do. A lot of people want to acquire a legal mind.
Yeah. We'll see how that plays out. We're hoping that probably today we're going to hear some word from the General Legal Counsel, and maybe they will respond positively.
No, I think it's procedural. I did make the point that the directive will have to be communicated to them formally.
Okay, so you wouldn't know.
So the speaker, I believe that this morning the speaker will issue some instructions to the clerk, to Parliament, for them to prepare the directive formally and make a formal communication to the AG as well as the General Legal Counsel. I believe when that is done,
they will comply.
In the balance of lawyers and legal terms, when they are served with the directive, I'm sure there will be compliance.
All right. Now, before you go, we also have this issue of the MP for Medina,
yes,
Francis Abia-Sosu, who has been invited by the police.
Yes.
The speaker is saying that, no, he's not going anywhere. There was an attempt to pick him up over the weekend in church. And the police has come out to say that, okay, we didn't send those people to go and pick him up in church, even though we are aware that there are some people who were intelligence officers who were there working on following up on intelligence. During news file on Saturday, the indication was that this issue, it all has to do with the immunity of a member of parliament. And whether a member of parliament can be arrested in the conduct of his duties. Now the conversation is, what constitutes parliamentary duties?
Yes. Now, thank you very much. Technically speaking, when you are elected a member of parliament, about 98% of what you do will be in the performance of your parliamentary duties.
Whether you're going to church.
You see, you may want to...
Or leading a protest.
Yes. Because you see, when the people by constitutional arrangement are asked to elect a leader, and they elect you must lead them. You must serve their interest. If you don't serve their interest as a leader, they'll replace you. They'll look for another person to lead them. So MPs are elected into a leadership position. It is not merely, even if you elect a class captain, Israel, You are asking that person. That's why we call him a class captain. He is to captain the class. He is to lead the interest of the class. If he doesn't do it, we always change them. So any process that through which people come together to appoint by way of election somebody to lead them, you must offer leadership. So that education too must be offered. It's not, look, what we do in the chamber is just about 15% of the parliamentary duties. What you see, we do. No. A lot of the work are done at committee levels, which is about 60%. The other aspects of the MP's work is to ensure social interaction and cohesion.
Engaging his constituency.
And engaging his constituency. So when the constituency says our roads are in a deplorable state, so we want you to come and lead us so that we can draw attention to our plight. You ought to be there and offer the leadership. And again, don't let the record reflect that Sosu didn't go through the processes. Sosu wrote letter. In fact, he met the community first. They issued a communique that we have met as a community. In fact, he mentioned 4 different communities constituting his constituency. They issued a communique, I have all here, and publicized it. Then they followed it up pursuant to the Public Order Act and wrote to the police asking for convenient dates. The police got back and said, no, the dates we have proposed are not convenient for us. Because 1, His Excellency was touring the region, so they were thin in terms of men. Then 2, the law students, the 499, were also going to go on demonstration. So the police rather proposed this date for Sosu. So they conducted a demonstration in a very peaceful manner. If in the course of that, you discover that some persons bent ties, and you want to interrogate the issues, you don't hound him. You don't hound him. Look, Israel, in criminal procedure.
So they invited
Hold on. In criminal procedure, there are 3 steps or 3 alternatives to arraigning anybody who is alleged to commit a crime before a court. Arrest, statements, determination of a prima facie case, then arraignment. The one we call criminal summons. You don't have to arrest at all. You won't arrest at all. You only make a determination that a crime has been committed. You make a prima facie determination, and you go and file the criminal summons. So the person sits in the house, and then he is served with a criminal summons to appear in court and answer his charges. That procedure, the police won't use it. How is Sosu a fugitive of justice? So that you pursue him to church. You pursue Chatuchikata to church, you pursue Sosu to church. What is this?
The police is saying that they didn't pursue him to church.
Israel.
And we actually have that statement.
Israel.
We put up that statement.
Israel, I've seen that statement. Let me say this. I had a building at Adenta, Frafraha. Almost 5 years ago, police school military men came to pull it down. 1 a.m. They brought vehicles. When I took vehicle numbers and wrote to the police and the military, they came back to tell me that those vehicles didn't belong to their fleet of vehicles. Men in uniform, I took photographs and wrote formally. They said they didn't know those vehicles. You send men with vehicles, and you are saying that you didn't send police. I can show you photograph with this new Camry.
It could be unauthorized.
No, exactly. So the police ought to be investigating themselves. They issue a formal statement and say that even if they were there, they were gathering intelligence from the church. Why is the church involved in planning treason? A treasonable offense? That a whole police institution will say that even if you found a vehicle, plainclothes men there, they were gathering intelligence. I think we are better than this.
So let me share that statement with you.
Read your paragraph 5 and paragraph 6.
I'll get to that. So the statement, the headline is, Police investigation into a protest led by Honorable Francis Javier Sosu says, 1, following a protest in the Medina constituency led by its Member of Parliament, MP Honorable Francis Javier Sosu on Monday, October 25, 2021, The police commenced investigations into certain alleged criminal acts that occurred. The MP, Honorable Francis Havia-Susu, was invited on the day of the protest to assist the police for his alleged involvement in the unlawful blockade of a road and the destruction of public property, but he declined the invitation. He declined further invitation, citing parliamentary privilege. 3 other persons have been interrogated on this matter, and we shall continue to use every legal means to interrogate all other suspects, including the Honorable MP for Medina. Stories circulating that some police personnel had been dispatched to arrest the MP at a church today, Sunday, October 31, 2021, are untrue. And this statement was issued yesterday. It says, any plain-clothed police personnel found on the premises of the church may have been there for intelligence purposes and not to effect an arrest. The police administration will continue to conduct investigations into this matter, and we urge the public to continue to support us as we maintain law and order. So this is the position of the police. Now, there are those who are saying probably what should happen is that the police should go to the Supreme Court and seek interpretation of this the privileges given to MPs and what constitutes parliamentary duties.
Hold on, I would not belabor that point because they have the right to do that. But there's a precedent. And let me also add that Sosu never cited parliamentary privilege because that is not a privilege to cite. Sosu simply said that he had been summoned by his committee, constitutional legal, to look into a matter. And so they should allow him to go. After that, he will submit himself. They said no. So they were going to bundle him into a vehicle. Okay. Now, on Wednesday, he moved a motion in Parliament and cited 3 officers. And Speaker, the House agreed and referred this matter to the Privileges Committee. Maybe a communication he has to reach these persons, but I'm sure it made news. So for me, what the IGP and his team are doing, they are daring Parliament, they are daring the Speaker. Because for the same set of facts, 3 of your men have been cited for contempt of Parliament. They are yet to purge themselves.
Yeah, but there are those who say that it's not the 3 officers who should have been cited. You probably want to cite the IGP because they were working on behalf.
No, if you cite the IGP and the IGP comes to say things like this, I didn't send this man, what would you have done? So he's citing exactly the person, the officers who were in situ, who were at the point of the action. So he did the proper thing. All I am saying is that institutions should know that we are all governed by a set of laws. The same constitution that mandates a policeman or the police service to effect an arrest of somebody who is about to commit a crime, who is committing a crime, or who is absconding from a criminal scene, is the same constitution that says that if an MP is alleged to have committed offense, there's a certain procedure you follow. You don't disregard, you don't have regard to a portion of the Constitution and disregard the portion. In any case, above all, Speaker Michael Kwe set the procedure. He says the proper thing to do. If you think, and if you read their statement, it's all about alleged. They wrote that, we didn't say it. If an MP is alleged to have committed a crime, Speaker Michael Kwe said the procedure. There's a parliamentary police unit. Instruct them to take statement from the member of parliament. And you conduct further investigations. If indeed you have to prosecute him by all means. So he's a lawyer. He was a year behind me. I don't think he's a courtroom animal. He doesn't fear defending himself in a court of law. But let us do the things in accordance with law and procedure.
You indicate that what the IGP is doing is daring.
Yes, he's daring the Speaker.
The Speaker.
Because he's aware that 3 of your men, in fact, including your regional commander, have been cited by Parliament for contempt of Parliament.
But we're dealing with an IGP who has made it clear that he's prepared to dare.
No, yes, I think, and it is very interesting if he wants to do that. If you use maybe a few weeks to buy goodwill, and you want to throw all those goodwill away, it's up to him.
He has the people on his side.
Fine. The people are on everybody's side if you do the right thing. So is not saying it's above the law. No MP ever says that. But there's a procedure how you do. Do you get up and go and arrest the IGP himself? Or do you get up and arrest the Chief Justice or a High Court judge? There are procedures you follow.
All right.
Exactly.
Okay, so we'll see how this pans out. But thank you very much, Roxing Nelson, the Fiamekbo, South Member of Parliament for South Dayi, for joining us for this conversation. We're not done with the AM show. We have the National Science and Maths Quiz issue coming up.
Yeah.
Don't go away. Why? You're rooting for your school.
Yeah, Molly school.
At what point are they now?
I need to follow.
Okay. Yeah, we are rooting. You're hoping that they're going to make a difference this time. Right?
Yes, I hope so. I hope so.
Okay, so you should also be rooting for your school and find out where your school is and how your school is performing. We'll do that when we come back from the break. Don't go away. All right, so the first week of the preliminary stage contest of the 2021 National Science and Maths Quiz has produced 16 winners so far from Western and Northern zones as well as Greater Accra and Central regions. The winners have gained qualification to the 1/8 stage of the competition. 23 more slots are for grabs this week, with exciting contests to be staged in the Eastern and Ashanti regions as well as Mono, Ahafo and Oti Volta zones. In all, 54 schools will progress from the preliminary stage to the 1/8 stage of the National Championship to be held in Kumasi for the first time.
Okay, so in a little while, we'll be speaking to Maxwell Agbada. He is Eastern Regional Correspondent, temporary.
For the NSMQ.
Yeah, for NSMQ. And Manuel Kranting, who is in Sunyani, for the Bono Ahafo contest. So we'll cross over to them a little while. First thing though, who is your money on? Who are you supporting this year? And we'd love to hear from you. 0302-211-691 or 0302-211-692. Call us and tell us who your money is on. Who do you think is going to take it this year? Who would you like to see win? So, okay, today in the Buna Ahafo zone, we have the schools that are going to be in the competition today.
All right, so for
Nkranza,
today, in Nkranza SHTS versus Kintampo SHS, and then Boma SHS. And then we have another one, Techiman SHS, Ula Girls SHS, Kenyase, and Achirinsua SHS. There's one other contest. Yeah, there's a third contest for today before we go to the Tuesday one. So for Tuesday, that's tomorrow, we're having Drobo SHS, Our Lady of Mount Carmel, St. Francis SHS, and then Sunyani SHS, and 2 other contests. Okay, so you let us know. I mean, I'm sure if we're getting people to call. Okay, let's look at the Eastern Region contest today. If we're paying SHS, Ghana SHS, Koforidua, Xavier SHS. We have Ukwapman School representing Manya Krobo SHS in Kwetia Presby SHS, and in Prior SHS, Ebuakwa State College and WBM Zion SHS. So interesting contest there. I'd want to think that Ukwapman will just sail through that easily against Manya Krobo in Kwetia Presby SHS. Let's see how that goes.
Obviously, you're rooting for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's I was in Form 1 to Form 5 at the Kwapman School.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, what was that like?
Well, it was good. It's, yes, solid school, well set up. Okay, so Eastern Region again, tomorrow we have Nifa SHS, Odan SHS, and Boso SHTS. And then Breed Girls SHS, Krobo Girls SHS, and then Presby SHS.
But we have Kwame on the line. Kwame, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Kwame.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Great. So who are you supporting?
I'm supporting St. Peter's. St. Peter's is going to take the trophy.
Because you went to St. Peter's, right?
But of course, it's the best science school in the country.
Wow, I see. Okay, interesting.
So they're going to win the cup this year.
Okay, I mean, the past couple of years, you guys have done quite well. Yeah.
Yes, we are we don't talk so much, but our heads do the talking for us.
Okay. Yeah. Please, we are very, very, very sorry. Very sorry. All the best, Kwame. Let's hope it doesn't end in tears for you. Okay, all right. Well, call us. Tell us who you are rooting for this year. 0302-211-691. 0302-221-692. The numbers are on the screen because I keep on getting it wrong. Okay, but William is also calling us from Kumasi. William, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, so who are you supporting?
Please, I'm supporting Opokuwari.
Hey, okay. You went to Opokuwari?
Yeah.
Wow. So why is it that you only support? I mean, this may seem like a bit of a dumb question. Why do we support the schools that we went to?
For as long as the school is in competition, yes, you want to support your school.
Okay, so when they come out.
Yeah, when they're eliminated, then yes, you have to look for another school to support.
So, William, who would you support if Opokuwari doesn't go through?
Please, you say.
If Opokuwari doesn't, like, let's say, get through to the finals, which school will you support? Prempeh?
I'm backing maybe Prempeh or Adisado.
Okay.
Okay, Prempeh or Adisco. Okay, fair enough. You're not supporting any of the girls' schools? I think we've lost William.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've lost William. Okay, so Friday continues.
This was the contest for Friday. Okay, this coming Friday.
Yeah, 5th November.
Have, in the Ashanti region, we have St. Hubert Seminary SHS, Yasantua Girls SHS, Fomena Tiamas.
The famous Fomena.
In SDA SHS, Setutu SHS, in Sutam Catholic SHS, Tiamas. Okay, that's also a formidable school. St. Louis SHS, St. Mary's Girls SHS Konongo, and Kumasi Girls SHS Agogo State College, and then Konongo Udomasi SHS. That's this coming Friday.
Well, Godfred is calling us from Kumasi. Godfred, good morning.
Morning.
All right. So who's your money on?
Oh, was for sure.
Oh, was, I see. Okay, interesting. You think they'll do really good this year?
Yeah, bouncing back.
Okay. All right. Well, all the best to you. We'll see how it'll go. The nice thing is we don't have to wait too long.
No.
To find out who the winners are. So that should be interesting. So that was Friday. So Saturday, November 6th in the Ashanti region, Sims SHS versus Toase SHS, KNUST SHS, then Adventist SHS Bantama, Ejisuman SHS, and then Joaso SHS. Then Edu Jemfi SHS, Kumasi High School, Ifya Kobi Ampim Girls SHS. Very interesting. You know, another thing I think that the NSMQ does, which sometimes we overlook, is that it actually brings to the light a lot of these schools that we normally wouldn't hear about. Yeah, you know, and so if these schools are doing
lesser known schools,
yeah, they become very viable.
Once they feature in the National Science and Maths quiz, then we get to know about them, and that's how we got to discover Ronald Ross, right?
Salam is calling us from Pokwase.
You know about that school?
Yeah.
Royal Drobo Senior High School. Friendly, if you put it together, it's Ronald Ross.
Okay, no, please.
You don't know?
No, please.
Okay, but the viewers are aware.
Okay, if you say so as well. Salam is calling us from Pokwase. Salam, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, madam.
Hi, so who's your money on?
Boso's Senior High Technical School.
Oh, okay, all right, that's interesting.
Boso, okay, Boso is in the eastern region, right?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Enum Boso.
Yeah, Enum Boso.
Well, yeah. Well, I did my service there.
Okay.
Well, I didn't do my service at the school. I mean, I was at Dodi Asante Chrome. But yes, it's
Dodi, okay.
Dodi Asante Chrome, yeah. So that's where I did my national service.
That's what?
Dodi close to Asukma.
Yeah. Okay. So ours was actually down there. Dodi Asante Chrome is actually by the lake.
Oh.
But then if you climb up, then that's where you come to Boso.
That.
Yeah. So yeah, I was a teacher then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so yeah, we wish you all the best. How well has Boso SHS performed?
Oh,
in the
the
past?
school is very, very, very good. I completed 2016.
Right. In terms of the National Science and Maths quiz, I mean, how well have they performed in the past?
Especially science.
Okay. So they're good.
Yeah.
All right. We wish them all the best. Yeah.
Okay, that was Salom calling us from Pukwase. He's supporting Busum. You know,
I'm surprised that I did my national service there.
Well, yeah. Why did you do your national service there?
That's where I got.
That's where you were posted to.
Yeah.
So you went and stayed there for a year?
Not exactly, not a year, but I stayed there for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
I see. It's just very interesting.
I don't seem, or I don't look like someone who's survived.
I mean, you support Hearts of Oak, so obviously you must have survived a few things. But I mean, I didn't quite include national service. It's in a village, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so you lived in a what, village hut?
No, I wasn't there. I didn't live in a village hut. I was
You
I was
lived in a hotel?
town, but I had to walk down.
So did you live in the hotel?
I didn't live in a hotel.
Where did you live?
Rent a place.
You rented a place?
Single room.
Wow. So did you have a girlfriend in
No.
that town? No?
Yeah.
I see. I feel like we're not getting all the details, but...
What else do you want to know?
Oh, don't worry. The details will come out. Now that we know, we'll go and investigate.
But you know that the viewers are asking about the band that you have on.
So the National Science and Maths Quiz is produced by Primetime Limited and sponsored by the
that one
Ghana
you don't want to talk
Education
about.
Service. The broadcast by Joy News is supported by Cowbell, Papa's Pizza, Ace Medical Insurance, Dole Yogurt, DBS Roofing Sheets, and Tampico. Okay, so we have Manuel joining us now.
Before Manuel comes in, when will you tell us
No,
about
so
the band?
Manuel is... So we're going to go to Manuel.
Manuel, please hold on. So when are you going to tell us about the band?
I'll tell you about it later.
Thank you.
Manuel, hi. Good morning. Manuel is in Sunyane.
Hi, Enimwa.
Hi, Manuel. Are you being a good child?
Well, of course, as always, I don't know so much of being a child, but
exactly,
I'm a good boy.
You can't be a child.
And hello to Israel.
You're all
Hi,
children,
Manuel.
including you. How's it going, Manuel? Are we excited?
Definitely really excited about the contests that are expected to go down today. Anyway, if you remember in the zonal championships, especially in the Bono zone where you had a cluster of the Hafo region, the Bono region, the Bono East region, there were a lot of surprises. And you had in Kranza, SHS, as they call themselves, NKZ, and you can see them just dropping from their bus right now. They are holding the flag up in the Bono region. And we had schools like Techiman Senior High School. We had schools like Sunyani Senior High School, schools like St. James Minor Seminary. All of these schools had a pedigree ahead of the zonal championship. But in Kranza SHS, please just come closer so we have a quick chat. In Kranza SHS, you know, shut down the whole place as it will be, and eventually became the zonal champions. Grateful that you could speak to us on Joy News. How is the feeling like? I mean, you did wonders in the zonal championship. They are here for the prelims. How does the feeling, strike even ahead of the first, contest?
A bit of nervousness, but we feel good, and then we are prepared. So today we are, with God's help, I think everything is going to be on our side.
You sound really meek, and I don't know if that is a feature, that's cuts across all your people. NKZ people, get closer. Well, are you shy? No, they say who's around you. If you are shy, it means that you're already gone out. Are you shy?
Nah.
Oh, are you sure you're not shy?
Nah.
Say again.
It's a Vim Day.
Vim Day?
Yeah.
Where's the Vim coming from? Tell me, where's the Vim coming from?
See, from last month, we came here and we won the championship. And this gave us a motivation that we can do more. So we went home and prepared very hard, and we know that today success is going to be ours. So that's where our vim is coming from, and it's from the grace of God too.
And you speak highly of your performance, of course. Nobody can take that away from you. But another school, for instance, which pulled a surprise in the zonal championship was Archbishop Porter Girls. They were champions for the Western Zone. Eventually, in the very first contest in the prelims, get closer. In the very first contest in the prelims, are you afraid of me? Relax. What's your name?
My name is Asiama.
And Asiama, you are one of the supporters, correct?
Yes, sir.
You know that Archbishop Porter Girls, they were winners in the Western Zone, and they lost their first contest. Does that, scare you and unsettle you a bit?
No, it doesn't at all, because they are different schools, and we are different schools. And how we have prepared towards this contest shows and tells everything that we are going to take the championship.
So if I say NKZ, what do you say? You say what?
Kwanzaa Senior High, and we respond Odupon Yejina Banana. So you say Odupon, and we respond Yejina Banana.
So if I say Odupon, what do you say?
Yejina Banana.
Odupon.
Yejina Banana.
What does it mean? Let me speak to your trainer. What does it mean? Odupon Yejina Banana. I know Odupon sounds like a tree, a big tree, or something like that.
A giant, in a way, titan. And then they will respond that they are, they are firm, they are standing on their ground.
Okay, so they are standing majestically and watching all over. Okay, let me quickly take your assessment of the schools that you are coming to compete. You are coming to compete them. Come. The contestants, where are they? The contestants, come. We want to have a really nice conversation. I don't like the way you are all running out. Are you afraid of me? So tell me, with your schools that you are going to compete, which one of them is really, a threat to you?
Right now, no one is a threat to us.
Hey, no one is a threat to you?
No one.
Let me talk to you. And they say no one is a threat to them. And it's really interesting to learn of this one. They say no one is a threat to them. Charlie, no one is a threat to you.
Yes.
So tell me, you are definitely going to win, according to you.
Yes,
Who is going to come second?
That one there, I can't predict.
That one there, found.
Yes.
All right, so there are a lot of contests that are going to happen in the next, today and then tomorrow. And anymore, you are hearing them. And as we've seen, especially in the Northern Zone, where people spoke really loud and bigly of their anticipated performances and so on, we are expecting that they would also go ahead and win their contest. For instance, Cal Pohin SHS, we spoke to them ahead of their contest. They said they were in to win, and eventually, after the contest, all the contestants were sweating. We really hope that in Kranza SHS doesn't end up sweating. But that's what we have for you. Even as we gear up for the very first contest of the day, we're bringing you all the updates as the day goes by. Anymore, back to you.
Thank you so much for that, Manuel. And stay safe out there. And all the best to you guys. Hope, obviously, all of you can't win. So may the best man win.
Yep.
Which applies to more situations than just this one. Okay, like, for example, when Hearts of Focus playing. But let's go to Maxwell in Koforidua as well. Maxwell, Adbadba, good morning.
Good morning, anyone.
All right, Maxwell, Chale, what's happening?
Well, we just started with the Eastern Region contest. We came all the way from the Central Region, and now we're here in the Eastern Region. The contest that a lot of people will be looking forward to, or are looking forward to actually, is the contest between Big Girls. We also have Civil Girls SHS, and then Presec SHS, President Senior High School also in that particular contest. But that contest will be happening tomorrow. A lot of people are looking forward to that, especially because you know the two girls, School Girls, and then Big Girls. But in the Central Region, quite a lot happening, in the Central Region. A lot of people I've been speaking to in the Central Region, they have huge expectations that Infant Supreme School will be able to make some kind of difference this year. Now they've maintained an unbeaten run, since the competition started throughout the regional level and then even throughout the championship, that the Central Regional Championship that we have. That they are the current Central Regional champions in Infant Supreme School. In fact, they beat Wegehe, they beat Adesada College, they beat St. Augustine College throughout, and then they won that particular contest, the grand finale of the Central Region Championship. Many are expecting them to make a difference this year, especially also because in the Central Region and in the Western Zone, and in fact, even in the Greater Accra Region, we can say that Infant Secondary School won with the highest points that we've seen at the preliminary stage of the National Championship. So just like the Northern Zone, we have Tamale SHS winning with 79 points. Infant Secondary School in the Southern Zone, they are currently leading with the highest points that we've seen so far, 69 points. That's huge. That has been the trend so far from what we've seen from their performances. Another school that is also a huge force to reckon with, although considered by many as an NSMQ underdog, they are now gradually becoming the favorite of a lot of people. Asin State College. Now, they are the reason Infantiman girls are not in the national championship. In fact, they took them out at the regional level, and it looks like they are poised for more action. In fact, they are telling us that we should expect more shocking results in the national championship. Now, guess what happened at the University of Cape Coast, where they competed against University Practice SHS and then another school. University Practice SHS, they are based at the University of Cape Coast. So they filled the whole auditorium on that day. Asin State College, they just showed a section of it. But guess what? University Practice led first round, second round, fourth round, and then in the final round, Asin State College managed to overturn the results. And they have managed to do this with second-year students. This seems to be, their strategy. That's what they did in 2019. They came back in 2020. And then in 2021 also, it looks like they are coming in. In 2021 also, they've come in with second-year students, and they are doing the magic for them. Now, arriving right now is the Intesia Presby Senior High School. I don't know. Yeah, I think you can see them from the spot right now. They are making their way to the auditorium. We also have Ghana Secondary School, Ghana Senior High School, before we are arriving here on the ground. So we are starting today's contest from the Eastern region. Let me run you through the contest for the day. We have Okorepeyin Secondary School, Senior High School, versus Ghana Senior High School, Vestavia Senior High School. That's going to be the first contest. The second contest, we have Okwapaman School, versus Manakrobo SHS, and then Nkotia Presby Senior High School. I know Exra was also at Okwapaman. So Okwapaman and Akaka. I'm sure we see them. Akaka will be seeing them at the 1/8 stage. Okwapaman is competing today against Manakrobo SHS and then Nkotia Presby SHS. We also have Impressive SHS, and then Ebuakwa State College, and then WBM Zion SHS. And then tomorrow, we have three contests for tomorrow. The first Senior High School, Odan Senior High School, Boston Senior High Technical School. And then the second contest will be Ebri Girls, Kobo Girls, and then Presby Senior High School. That's what a lot of people are waiting for. And we are also waiting for that contest tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Many people have been speaking to every year, the National Science and Math page, you speak to people and they tell you, oh, they want a girl to win for the very first time. But we progress in the competition and all the girls are kicked out of the competition. We are hoping that that will not happen tomorrow. We are hoping that the girls will be able to move on to the 1/8 stage, qualify to the quarterfinals, make it to the semis, and then to the grand finale, and hopefully win the trophy for the first time in more than 20 years since the NSMT started.
Thank you very much for joining us, Maxwell, for that very
Maxwell, before you go, I was telling Enimwa about Royal Drobo Senior High School. She doesn't seem to be here.
Is that come again? The last sentence?
No, it's fine.
I was telling her about it. She's not aware, so just help her out. Yes, indeed, there's a school like that.
Oh, yeah, that's school like that. There's Drobo Senior High School, Drobo Secondary School, the short form is, and then Royal New Drobo. I said see the short form.
Why are you going to text it? Why can't you say it?
Yeah, okay. All right, Maxwell, let me let you go.
It is what? Oh, no, it's fine. No. It's the school's acronym. I don't get it.
How would you get it? Maxwell, thank you very much. Stay safe out there.
Wait, Royal Drobo Senior.
Royal New.
Okay, Ronnie. Okay, so Royal New Drobo Senior has Ronnie Dross.
Yes. But you've said it so many times.
I don't get it why he says he can't say it.
Okay. Anyways, so that's our NSMQ around Ghana. NSMQ for you. And I hope your school wins if you're watching. Don't be like, hearts of folks. So, okay, should we go for a break, Israel, and then perhaps come back with the showbiz?
Yes, let's take a break.
Okay, we'll be right back.